Aperture just announced some brand new lights that I've been able to test on a few shoots, but I haven't had time to make a full review of, so I'm just gonna quickly walk you through them instead. Over here we've got the F21X, and this is the F22c. So the C stands for color, this is an RGB light, and the X stands for bicolor, so you can go all the way from tungsten to daylight, and even a little bit further than daylight. Now, Aperture's released both of these as part of the Amaran brand, which is sort of their more affordable entry-level stuff. And I feel like actually everything on the top, including the control panel here, this part of the unit feels pro. Like, it is done incredibly well and is no compromises. So I'll get one of my few complaints out of the way early, and that's this like extra power unit, this like little AC thing still does feel kind of consumer and messy. So that's kind of the biggest downside, and now everything else after this is pretty good. So let's take a look at what these really are. No, this is totally not a properly formatted review. If it was, I wouldn't have time to make it, so we're making it this way. So let's deconstruct the F22c. This is all there actually is to it. This is the whole light. That's how big it is. Aperture has finally done light mats, which is something I've been waiting for a long time. There haven't been very affordable options. I've seen the light gear ones around everywhere. They were amazing in like Quentin Tarantino's car shots. They look really cool. But this is something that I can afford and is gonna look just as good. And before I put it away, they do all come with all these accessories. So there's like diffusion in the back. There's two different options that come, and then this has a grid on it already. And this Velcro softbox frame just attaches to the outside of it. Super easy to get on and off. But the light itself, there's actually very little to it. I'll turn down till you can see the diodes. So here's what's actually going on. You can see like the tiny little RGB LED units in here. There's tons of them, and each like pixel section has 5 of them that selectively turn on and off depending on your color. I'll show you that. So one of the 5 is actually RGB and like fully changes the color. And then 2 of them are yellow and white. So as I bring the saturation down, you can see it like gradually shifting to white, and you can see as some of those turn on and off. Maybe you can see it, I don't know. This is the most unconventional video I've ever done. I mean, I'm even shooting it on a manual focus 12mm lens here. The backs are held together by this like X-shaped crossbar, which also, I mean, we can tear this down even further. This is what gives it its shape, and you can quickly tear it down a little further so that it all fits inside of their handy bag. And now we're down to just the light. As you can see, it's fully like foldable, collapsible, very lightweight for how much output you're getting. So like you could just tape this up to the ceiling. That's maybe the best example of how I've used these in the past. Is like, it's really helpful if you need to get a softbox in a small space. As soon as you add the front panel to this, it becomes soft really quickly. Like in a regular single point light source, you need more distance where it can throw into like the wider front of a softbox. With these, it's already spread the distance. At just a few millimeters deep, you know, you've already got that size. The back also has Velcro all around it, and these rivets so you can attach it to things. These are super easy to mount in different ways. I'd actually kind of hoped somebody else would do something hard the way that the light gear light mats are, because then you don't need to add anything to make it a solid piece. Like you could just hold it out and it would stay. But there's probably a reason that this has become more of the trend in the industry, maybe just because it's fun to play with. Now, I've just had it at 4% here. I'm not sure if I can give you a sense of just how much output there is here, but it's actually a lot. I'll jump to one of the presets. There's a few of them. Holy smokes. Okay, that's at 50% and 100%. Does this give you an idea how bright it is? Probably not at all. That's not helpful. 100% is quite bright. And I'll give you a little tour around the control panel, what you can do with it. So here is the basic like bicolor settings. You can go, you know, from tungsten to daylight. Let's hover around, you know, 5500 to keep it clean. And if you're noticing a green tint, this is incredibly helpful actually. Something I appreciate if you're trying to decide between the two. The bicolor over here can't do any green magenta tint. So today I was actually trying to mix this with another light that had some green tint. And with this, I could just dial it in, right? I'm like, okay, that little bit of 2, like it doesn't usually take much. Like one is a lot, like 0.5, and all of a sudden it balanced much better with the other light that I had around. Or of course you can take it out, add some magenta. Often that's what I find to be the problem with kind of like mid-priced lighting, is that the spectrum doesn't perfectly capture the green and magenta tint scale, whereas like the CCT It can be pretty close, but it doesn't feel as bad as when it's off. When green and magenta is off, it looks worse. As always, there's some effects that I don't ever use or care about, but what's more interesting is I like these presets, so you can kind of jump between a few different standard modes. Oh, there's the effects. And I haven't dug into it, but I'm pretty sure I could like override these settings to save them. Here we are in the 100% saturation, just like dialing through all the colors. You can see like there's a very saturated look to it. It looks pretty amazing. You can probably hear it, but the fan in here is actually like pretty loud. If we turn it off, the power cables, like these plugs, are actually really well done. Like very strong connection. You know that it is locked in when it's in there. I don't love this side. This is what they've been doing on a few of the other Amaran lights. This connection, I don't know. I don't love it. I feel like the ultimate mode for these actually is when you put batteries on them, which I don't have any handy. But what's amazing is that they do take, both of these, they take 14 volt and 26 volt, which is not always the case. I'm often really worried about frying my 14 volt lights with 26 volt batteries because I do have both of them. They come with these little mounting points in the back. There's two of them, a straight one and a bent one, depending like how curved you want it to be as it goes overhead. But in the week or so that I've spent shooting with both of these, I've already found uses for each size. Like this is the 2x2, this is the 2x1. And the size of this is actually awesome, especially for like smaller detail shots because it is so incredibly small. You can really pack it in anywhere. It will fit wherever you need to cram it. And also that extremely lightweight is something that can help when you are asking somebody to hand hold it for you, which I do that all the time. If there's somebody nearby, I'm like, can you just grab this and hold it for me like that? And I mean, you can do this for quite a while. This is not that heavy compared to most things. It's really fantastic to work with. So those are the Amaran F21X and the F22c, X for bicolor, C for color. The prices range from $400 to $900 depending on the color and size choices that you go with. These are awesome both for real cinematographers that need to fit into tight spaces, but also for YouTubers that are just looking for a key light in a small room. I mean, this is an awesome thing that you can pack behind most computers and get something incredibly soft without taking up any depth, but it's still bright enough for almost anything you need in a small room. I'm super happy with these. Aperture also announced some LED tubes today, and I would really love to check those out, hopefully at NAB if I make it there. I'd love to know, what would you like me to check out at NAB? Assuming I do get there, like what booths do I need to hit up? What do you guys want to see? In the comments would be the place to do it. I'll talk to you guys in the next podcast. Bye.